Ahoy, mateys, boxing fans. So, another terrific fight comes on December 19 when magnificent Irishman Andy Lee defends his WBO title for the second time, and this time it's against the challenger by the name Billy Joe Saunders. Or should I say Saunders? How do you say it in British? In proper British, Saunders or Saunders? Anyway, so December 19 this time. It was rescheduled a couple times, but hey, all good things happen in December. How's that old Irish song is about it? When apples still grow in November, when blossoms still bloom from a tree, when leaves are still green in December, it's then when Ireland is free. Yes, December. And I noticed that each Irish song has at least a word which is green, and this time it's still green in December, right? And it happened that I love green color. It's my favorite color. See, my hat is green, my shirt is green, my pants is green, and I've got 2 rooms in my house also painted green, and my apples are green. Everything's green. And in Old Irish, there are so many good words which sound different, meaning the same. In Irish, it's green is glass. That's what I remember. So now about magnificent Irishman. Born in London, Andy Lee is now hailing out of Limerick. So I'm wondering to myself, how would you say it? Say, if you are from Moscow, right? So you are Muscovite. But if you are from Seattle, then you are Seattleite. But if you are from Limerick, so how would you say it? It's like a Limerickite, or a Limerican, or maybe a Limericanite. How in the hell you say it? If you know, tell me. Well, that's what it is. So he was born in London, so he's a Londoner or Londoner / Limericanite Irishman Andy Lee. It's a magnificent Andy Lee. He has a terrific amateur career. He fought on many events in amateur fights. He has extensive record, and he has in his professional career, if everyone knows, he is a veteran, 31-year-old veteran already. He has 34 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Out of those wins, 24 he has by KO, which means he has a hard knocking power in his both hands, his left hand and his right hook lately. And so we have lost so many fights to characterize and to analyze his skills, but I would say that I would start with his losses, because losses, I believe, define the quality of a fighter. His first loss was to Brian Vera in 2008, and Brian Vera is a tough guy. Tough, right? In British it's not tough, it's tough. Tough guy. And Andy Lee was beating him, was winning that fight, but that didn't happen. In round number 7. He made a mistake, and Brian connected good punch. And it's funny. Well, actually, it's not funny. It's tragic that he landed on Lee. Lee didn't go down or anything. He actually replied with his own punch. He hit Brian Vera after that, but after his own punch, referee stopped the fight, supposedly giving TKO victory for Brian Vera, which I believe was, if it's honest mistake, or maybe it was something worse, but I think it was very unfair. That fight Lee shouldn't lose. Then Lee had a chance to revenge Vera, and he beat him convincingly in 10-round distance. 3 years afterwards, I believe it was 2011. And another loss was legitimate. It was lost to famous Chavez Jr. for WBC title in 2012. And also round number 7 was kind of not lucky number for Andy Lee. So he got knocked out. It wasn't a knockout, it was a TKO, but it was a legitimate one. Chavez Jr. was better, he was winning the fight. So this fight was stopped legally. And so he did good. So now let's go to the challenger, Saunders. His record is 22 fights at 12 by KO. So he has some power, though not too much. For the middleweight, he should hit harder than that. And so it's 22 wins, 22 victories, and 22 fights altogether. So it's like catch up 22. I hope it will be a lucky number for him this time. And Saunders is a slick lefty, moves very deftly laterally, and his footwork is magnificent. His feet are very nimble, I would say. He circles very well around his opponents, and generally he's very light-footed. And his hand speed is great too. He throws lots of punches in bunches usually, and he is very successful with that. And especially being a lefty, he looks, I would say, in a ring as a shadow of the great Joe Calzaghe. Almost. The shadow. That is. So, throwing lots of punches on the different angle, he got one flaw though. As I said, he is a little bit having a soft touch for the middleweight. His last significant fight was against Chris Eubank. How do you say it in British? It's like maybe Eubank or Eubank, Eubank. Well, okay, let's say it Eubank, okay? And in that fight, Joe Saunders went distance and he won most of the rounds. Eubank, though, rallied in the 12th round, the last, but it was a bit too late and a bit too little. And though he landed quite a few good shots on Billy Joe Saunders, right to the chin, and all kind of punches, including uppercuts and hooks and straight punches. But Saunders took his heavy punches real well, which by this he proved that he has a good chin. Though the question, will his chin will hold fast against Mighty Lee's punches? That's a different story. So now, coming into this fight, I would say it's a special fight because both of them, Lee and Joe Saunders, are both lefties. And even though we can judge them by their fights against righties, but when two lefties meet, sometimes they are confused, and sometimes lefties cannot fight each other. So they having kind of problems, and because it takes a totally different set of skills to fight another lefty. So the outcome can be rather unpredictable. Though I saw Saunders, I believe at least once he fought a lefty pretty well. And Lee also has a history of fighting lefties. He fought John Jackson, a lefty. He knocked him out in the 5th round very nicely. Though the fight went back and forth, so Lee wasn't at his best, but eventually he got his with a good punch and knocked him out cold. And another magnificent victory of his was against a Russian tough, or I should say tough, Russian, Matthew Korobov. And he was kind of losing for 5 rounds. He was losing to Korobov, Corbo was a little bit better, also great fighter with great amateur career. And Corbo also is a great puncher, was undefeated by that point, but then in the it was in the sixth round, Andy Lee caught him with a beautiful, magnificent right hook, bang, and took him out. He won. That's how he won basically his W belt. His last fight was against Peter Quillin. I saw that fight, and I think that Andy Lee wasn't fighting too well in that fight. He wasn't fighting to his full potential. Sometimes Lee has a terrific jab, but sometimes he forgets to use it. Also, he has a terrific right hook. For a lefty, it's a great weapon. And he acquired this left hook somewhere in the middle of his professional career. In his initial fights and in the beginning of his career, his left hook was kind of dormant. But then he developed it. He came up very strong, and his last fights he proved it. It's a lethal weapon. And sometimes he's presenting also. It's one of his flaws. He's presenting himself as a stationary target. The time when he's as a good KO master or expert, he goes for a KO and he forgets to throw too many punches, and he just looks for one punch knockout. It also makes him as a target as well, because he forgets to use his footwork well. So, and it depends how he remembers about it. It will depend this fight as well. So, what Saunders has to do in this particular fight in order to win? Well, in order to avoid lethal punches of Lee, he needs to use his speed hand and his nimble feet to the utmost, and move laterally as much as you can, and he should swarm Lee, because Lee is having a long range and he's very dangerous on the middle distance and long distance. So if Saunders manages to move inside at the close quarters, and swarm Lee, then he can achieve greater success and prevail in this fight. Also, if necessary, he needs to clinch and in order to put off Lee's power attack, and then use his own jab. And by the way, Saunders is a terrific jab. He proved it many times on many occasions. So he can set up his own attacks, and he should throw not just one jab, but many in order to set him up, and then throw his punches and bunches and achieve a high score. For him, it's very essential to have a high score, because I doubt he could knock out Andy Lee out. So, as well as Lee, what he should do. Also, he has a terrific, as we said, jab, but sometimes he forgets. So he should not forget to use his jab, and he can also set up Saunders very well. And considering that Saunders, he has a habit to go low very much, so Andy Lee should explore, should start with his jabs, and then try to lift Joe Saunders with his uppercuts with both hands, left or right, doesn't matter. And once he did it, then he can go for a finish after with his right hook or straight left. So he should try and make those preparations with his uppercuts. So that's what he should do. He should cut corners for Billy Joe Saunders, and try to keep him in a range, this distance, long distance, which is more advantageous for him. So that's what they're supposed to do. But so what actually will happen in this fight? Who in the hell is going to win? Well, considering all those things we just spoke about, the chances are about, I'd say it's close, very close, 50-50. On Saunders' side, it's his youth. He's young, he's 26-year-old, and he's very prime. He's no problem with stamina. his nimble feet, his quick hands, and of course his hunger, natural hunger to gain this WBO belt should give him upper hand. On Lee's side, it is of course his huge experience with so many tough, or should I say tough, opponents, and also the bitter school with his 2 losses. I think he learned from those losses a lot. I think that's when he started use his right hook with vengeance, and which actually brought mighty Andy, actually not Andy, Matt Korobov down. It was a magnificent fight, terrific punch. He met him, and it was over. So, if Lee, what Lee should do in order to win something very special, I should give him a suggestion. He should buy a ticket for his grandma to his match, and she should take, I would say, nice pen like this and write this message for him. So it goes left. I forgot left and right. Left, is it in old Irish? Is it 2 R's? 1. Anyway, so she should write this and this. And when he's gonna be fighting, right? And his grandma will be sitting in the ring, by the ringside, and show it to me like this. Woo, woo. Go left, go left. Or like this. Andy, go right, go right. So then Andy won't forget to move his feet and not to become a stationary for Saunders to shoot, and also scream him, give him a right hook, right hook. So then hopefully he will prevail and he can win using his grandma's help. So what Saunders should do special on his side, he also should invite his grandma. Why grandmas? Because they don't look suspicious, right? And give his grandma a grenade like this, something. So he would throw, in the air, and it goes kaboom, and Andy Lee goes, what is that? And this time, Joe Saunders goes bang bang and knock him out. Then he will win for sure. So that's basically it. So I think we should live until December 19 and see for ourselves what happens, and then let the best guy win, and then we'll talk and meet after that.